The EU approves a controversial copyright directive, including internet link tax and upload filter. Those in favor say they're fighting for content creators, but critics say the new laws will be catastrophic. The European Parliament has voted in favor of the Copyright Directive, a controversial piece of legislation intended to update online copyright laws for the internet age. The directive was originally rejected by MEPs in July following criticism of two key provisions, Articles 11 and 13, dubbed the link tax and upload filter by critics. All right, so Article 11 is intended to give publishers and papers a way to make money when companies like Google link their stories, allowing them to demand paid licenses. Article 13 requires certain platforms like YouTube and Facebook to stop users from sharing unlicensed copyrighted material. Critics of the Copyright Directive say these provisions are disastrous. In the case of Article 11, they note that attempts to tax platforms like Google News for sharing articles have repeatedly failed, and the system would be ripe to abuse by copyright trolls. What are copyright trolls? So those are basically, it happened in the podcasting community not too long ago, where you would get these just grifters, more or less, that would claim that a copyright was violated by somebody somewhere, a patent was violated by somebody somewhere, it would be vague, and they would try to sue somebody. And they went after big-name podcasters like Adam Carolla, Mark Maron, because they wanted a payday. So something like this would open up the lane for more of that to happen. Article 13, they say, is even worse. The legislation requires the platforms proactively work with rights holders to stop users uploading copyrighted content. The only way to do so would be to scan all data being uploaded to sites like YouTube and Facebook. This would create an incredible burden for small platforms and could be used as a mechanism for widespread censorship. However, those backing these provisions say the arguments above are the result of scaremongering by big U.S. tech companies, eager to keep control of the web's biggest platforms. So how do they determine? Now, what I'm curious about and what I'm still learning about, because I know we covered this a little while ago when it first came out. It's not like super fresh in my mind, and also I would need to read more about Articles 11 and 13. Where my question right now is, well, where does fair use fall into all this? Because I'm not super fluent in the fair use laws outside of the United States. I mean, I'm not fluent in our fair use, to tell you the truth. I mean, I know the basics, but I'm certainly not lawyer level fluent, because I'm not a lawyer. But, you know, I know a thing or two about fair use, and I know that, you know, if you're using the like using something for like a bigger message, or it's used for an educational component, or, you know, there's a lot of ways that things fall under fair use. If you manipulate an image in some way, et cetera, it's fair use. Now, the article that's really peculiar is that they just want you to stop sharing copyright material. Well, how does that apply to somebody sharing an article because they want people to see it? Or is that somehow going to be taxed when somebody shares it? Is it going to be kind of like, is this sort of going to be like an ASCAP or a BMI where they're collecting royalties for content creators and they have some kind of system in place to see when someone's sharing such and such article, the creator gets 2 cents? Or is that person sharing it going to be punished or not allowed to share it? I think those are all the concerns and questions that remain. So we'll keep an eye on this as it unfolds. Joseph, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing while you still can.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your